Good afternoon and welcome to Miami. We are in, presumably, if this starts working at any point, we're in the CRJ-700 from Caribbean Airlines. We're going down to, Providenciales in the Turks and Caicos today, which should be pretty fun. Alright, this is going to be a quick flight. For this type of airplane anyway. Block fuel for this flight is 10,500 pounds. So I just need to add a little bit more, not a whole lot. So that's gonna start adding fuel. And we can start thinking about getting the aircraft ready here. Let's move that. Pick the yaw dampeners. Okay, yaw dampeners are away. Alright, so let's get started here. First thing I want to do is move this out of the way and come over and start doing this. The dates are good. Okay. Position in it. Alright, KMIA. Let's tell it what airport we're at. Let's go to the next page and we steal the GPS location from there. Put it there. Alright, that's good. Now let's go to the flight plan page. Let's go KMIA MBPV. Load that. Execute. That is good. There's a discontinuity, but we'll worry about that later. Now that we've got the flight plan loaded, let's come over here and let's get the performance information from the iPad. There's our pounds of fuel. Set the payload in the simulator. We got 52 passengers today. Let's copy the perf init data to the FMS. Let's also set, do this now so we don't have to do it later. V1 is 131. Alright, now we come back over here. Let's go to the perf init page. It's got all my weights loaded now. Flight level is going to be 250. Cruising altitude 2 hour alternate will be 10,000. Put that in here. Execute. Next page. Got my winds and everything. Alright, we're looking at, I believe it was +5, the deviation. That's the temperature deviation. Climb winds 227 at 19 knots. Cruise winds 272 at 41 knots. Descent winds 104 at 05 knots. Alright, let's do Nav Setup, why not? The only thing I don't know is what the transition altitude is. Alright, we'll come back to that because flight plans, departures and arrivals. Cloud 1 departure. Off runway 12, that's great. Arrival, RNAV 10. And I need to get some information here before Advil. Benno's. Alright, let's see what the runway, what the approaches are here. Approach 10. Alright, so I'm gonna look real quick at the approach in Providenciales, and that tells me that the transition flight level is by ATC. The transition altitude is 6,000 feet. Alright, that wasn't what I was looking for, was it? And then we'll go Benno's here for the RNAV 10. Execute. Alright, departures and arrivals are good. Now let's go back to VNAV. VNAV 6,000 is going to be my transition altitude. Let's execute there. So I've done my flight plan, my departures and arrivals. Let's look at the legs here. We're going to get a discontinuity. I want to just delete that discontinuity because, yeah, there we go. Because usually if you get a discontinuity, it'll be like the same waypoint. It would be like Soleil, Soleil with a discontinuity between them. But when it's two different waypoints with a discontinuity between them, you just delete it. So there's that. Legs are good. VNAV is good. Deviation is +12. Yeah, okay. Prog init page. Alright, perf init page. That's set. Right, all good. Alright, so I think we're pretty good. Let's check our radios. 122.8. 4345 is our squawk code. Alright, other thing I want to do, MFD menus. Left side, I want that. Right side, I want VNAV. Alright, so let's look at our checklist here. After start checklist generators. Okay, nose wheel steering is set. Alright, we're ready to taxi here. Let's get moving. So I'm gonna get my feet on the pedals here. And let's call for push. Miami Airport is not this ugly. I should probably update this at some point, but not quite yet, I guess. So, what are the little things I want to fiddle with while we're getting going here? Let's turn down the cabin air just a little bit, make our passengers a little bit more comfortable back there. Flight time should be about 1 hour and 10 minutes. Yeah, what I'm going to do is release the parking brake, and that's going to accelerate our pushback dramatically. And let's get on the radio here. Taxiways. Miami traffic, Caribbean 264 pushing back position 10. We'll be taxiing to runway 12 via November 6 and Mike, Miami. The other thing I need to do, 1019 is the barometer. It won't switch from one to the other, from QNH to inches of mercury, no matter what I do. Like it won't. It's you should be able to set it via the iPad, but it just doesn't It just doesn't work. Alright, that's good. Let's engage the brakes here. Let's bring in the range here a little bit. So, this is Miami. Alright, let's get put in a little right rudder, put in some left throttle here, get us moving. And once you get moving in any airplane, you want to check your brakes. And the brakes are working. I wonder if the people in the back, when I do that, if they all spill their coffee. I probably should be a little bit more cautious. Got some clouds today. Doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of traffic at Miami today. Alright, taxi check, seatbelts and slats and flaps. Let's go 8 degrees of flaps. Okay, taxiway is clear. Alright, flight controls. Check the flight controls. Flight controls are working. Trims. Green, those are the trims right there. Thrust reversers, armed. Now, normally I probably wouldn't be, well, I wouldn't be taxiing and doing the checklist at the same time. One flight instruments checked, 1019er. One pilot would be doing the checklist and the other would be doing the taxiing, but of course this is a one-man show. Brake temps checked. Looking good. Alright, before takeoff checklist. Let's make sure we are on taxiway mic. The other day I accidentally taxied down November, which is in there. That's no good. Alright, by this point we all know the Cloud 1 departure because I fly the Cloud 1 departure all the time. Initial climb is going to be 16,000. Alright. Pull the power back because we are coming up to the chicane here. Gonna go lightly on the brakes here. Shouldn't be taxiing this fast anyway. Alright. Fuel cross flow is on manual. Come over here to the hold short point for runway 12. I don't see any traffic. Alright, let's pull up our, I don't know what it's showing me this for. Let's pull up our departure procedure. Cloud 1 departure. Alright, so there's that. Got that pulled up on my iPad. I don't see any traffic. Alright, let's look real quick here. Alright, fuel crossflows and manual. Flight attendants advised. Transponder and TCAS. TCAS is there. Transponder is good. Radar terrain display. Don't need to worry about it on this. CAS checked. No flow, no smoking. Takeoff configuration okay. Just have to hit that button. We get the takeoff green light. Alright, our V1 is 131 knots today. Taking off on a heading of 124 to intercept the 102 to Jamba. Alright. And let's just make sure there's no traffic. One last look on the iPad. I don't see any traffic. Miami traffic, Caribbean 264 taking runway 12 for departure to the east via the Cloud of One departure, Miami. Alright, turn our lights on here. Strobes on. And let's get going here.
Ladies and gentlemen, the captain has advised that we are now cleared for takeoff.
Okay.
Approaching runway 12. Enter runway 12, 8,900 feet remaining.
Alright, the approach area is clear. Don't see any traffic. Alright, swing the old nose around here. Runway looks clear. It's runway 12. The heading checks with the runway number, so we are good to go. Alright, Miami traffic, Caribbean 264 taking off runway 12, departure to the east, Miami. Takeoff power coming in. Okay, total power is set. Engine instruments are all in the green. Airspeed is alive. Bit of right rudder. 80 knots. Cross-checked. V1 and rotate. Positive rate. Gear up. Okay. Let's come back here to climb power. And left on a heading of 102. Land of golf courses and tract housing. Inspiring, isn't it? Heading on 102. Get a little bit of performance issues when we're down here in Miami with the simulator because it's a lot of scenery, so sometimes we get some bumps, you know, some stutters, but whatever. I really don't get too worried about them unless they're constant. And so after Jamba on a track of 124 to Kabola. and actually get some IFR today. Some cloud time. Alright, climbing through 6,800. We start picking up some speed here. Let's put up those flaps. I always forget to put the flaps up until you see that, until I see that red warning light. Which is not good. Alright, 8,000. And 113. To intercept Clada. So let's go nav mode, speed mode, autopilot. Whoopsie daisy, let's not. No. Not speed of 150 knots, come on. We're going to a speed of 290 knots. And nav mode.
Climbing takeoff course at 748.
We can turn our lights off. We can turn the passenger light off. Let people go to the bathroom if they want to. Alright, so we are outbound Clada. Clada at or below 16,000. Alright, climb checklist. Manual fuel cross flow to auto. Bleeds and APU set. Bleeds and APU set. Thrust reversers off and check the CAS. Thrust reversers are off. Oh wait, I had them backwards.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now serving sandwiches.
CAS is good, which means I took off. I took off without the thrust reversers on, but it didn't give me an error message, which you would think it presumably would have if that was a problem. So I'll start bringing the power back to about 78. Back here to 73 and 1 because we're getting fast here. So alright, Medley and 250 on the altitude. Let's go vertical. No, let's speed mode. Alright, speed mode. Let's dial the speed back here to 290. So the departure actually calls for flight level 280 or above at Medley, which is our next waypoint. So I'm going to go up to 290 instead of our planned altitude, which is 280. Let's see if we can get this changed. Alright, there's that set to standard. And we're climbing out over the Bahamas. Alright, I want to bring this range out now on my display. And I am going to open up my charts so you guys can see what's going on here. And once again, we have to log into the charts for some unknown reason. It's not doing it. So let's log in here. Alright. There we go. Yes, let's load the flight plan. Let's find out where we are. We don't need Symlink because we are not using. Alright, well. So be it. We're not using Symlink because Microsoft Flight Simulator does not use Symlink. So, anyway, this is the departure that we just flew. Plata 1, take off to Jamba, Kabola, over here to Clada. We are now climbing to flight level 290 to cross Medley at or above 290. Climbing through 2,000, flight level 26,000 right now. Okay, so just waiting to get up and level off at 29. And then we will set cruise power. indication of $1,000 to go here in a second. So that crosses 28,000. That's telling us 1,000 feet to go. Okay. Let's see. Perf page and fuel management. That's what I want to see. Alright, now this is going to come back to about 83%. Maybe 84. Leveling off. Like it's going to be less than that because the airspeed is climbing there. Alright, it's starting to come back down. Alright, now the next thing we want to do, let's take a quick look. We'll watch that airspeed right now for a little bit here. We'll look at the VNAV page and the descent info. Binos at 2,000 feet. Let's come over here to fix. BENOS. Sometimes it'll do that, it'll say not allowed, and then you hit it a second time and it works. No, not 2,000. Let's see. So we're at 29,000. We want to cross it at 2,000. That's 27 times 4 is 108 nautical miles. So, distance crossing 108. And I'm doubtful that that is correct. Because our circle is over here. We want our circle to be up here. Let's have another look here. VNAV. Descent infos. No, it's correct. Benos. Let me have another quick look here. BENOS at 2,000. Let's go back to the fixed page. BENOS. Alright, so that's curious. So now, let's have a look at the chart. On runway 10. Benos. Alright, so Alright, now let's move these out of the way here. Much lower than we usually are through here. So let's open the charts list. Get a nice view. Pin that. Pin the reference. There's no reference. Taxi charts, that's what we're looking for. Look at this real quick. We want to pin that. Okay. So now the approach chart, the runway 10 approach chart. So let's get rid of this now. BENOS. So something's there must. I mean, it's not unheard of for there to be more than one waypoint or something like that named the same, but it is a little unusual to have them very, very near each other, and this one is right there. I'm looking for Benos right here. This is why you want to pay attention when you do these things. You can get in that habit of just hitting buttons. I mean, this will give us the information anyway if I can't figure out why it's giving me a different Benos, whatever you want to call it. This will, I mean, it's already calculated the type of distance for me, but I kind of like setting my own. So let's see, BENOS. Course of 199 at 150 miles, which is, yeah, kind of over here, right? So that's just going to give us the same. Alright, well, we are not going to be using that feature today. That's strange. Coming up on Nassau. Alright, well. I know what I'm going to try another trick. Let's try another trick. Well, I guess there's no need to try to make too big of a deal out of this. So there's Nassau. Alright, so I guess we can start thinking about the approach here, because not really that long of a flight. We got 45 minutes. So it looks like top of descent to Soleil. Doesn't look very far, does it? And Soleil is, let's see here. Soleil to Pinos is 31 nautical miles. Alright, so what we're going to have to do here is go back to the VNAV page. Doing, and then we'll just go descent info. And once this hits 2,500 feet or so, then we can start thinking about move. Alright, so let's look. Don't need to worry about that. Alright, let's look at the airport info. I always like looking at this stuff. Not really a whole lot to see out the windows right now. Alright, let's see. It is 132.45. Let's get our altimeter setting right now. And it might change before we get there, but right now it's 1016. We should get a new ATIS before we get there. Alright, clearance 120.65, ground 0.9er, tower 119er, 0.9er, birds in the vicinity of the airport, possible wild dogs on the runway. Alright, cool. Let's see, warning. Parasailing takes place on Grace Bay from sunrise to sunup, up to 600 feet MSL. Wow. That's some serious parasailing. 600 feet above the ground. All aircraft using the main apron are required to utilize ground handling services. Alright. Pappy on the left hand side, medium intensity runway lights, glide slope angle is 3 degrees, which is standard. Runway width is 148 feet. Runway length 91.99, so that's a pretty good runway. That's some pretty cool views right here. Alright, so let's take a look now. Parking spots. So okay. Alright, RNP approach runway 10. Alright, ATIS 132.45. Provo approach 126.0. Tower 119.9er. Ground 0.9er. RNAV approach, final approach course is 104. Glide slope intercept is Imuso at 1700. LNAV VNAV decision height is 278. Let's dial that in right now. No reason not to. It's gonna be an MDA. Is it 278 feet? So we'll put 280. Alright. Give you some nice views out the window here while we do this. Airport elevation is 30 feet. Let's go up here. Landing level. Doing. doink. Landing level should be... Oh, wait, here we are. 60 feet. No. Landing level. 20 feet. That's close enough. Alright. Missed approach, climb to 2000. And a right turn, direct Beanos and hold, or restart the procedure. As directed by ATC, okay. RNP approach, altimeter set in inches. Transition level by ATC. Local altimeter setting not received, procedure not authorized. DME, RNP 0.300 not authorized. Alright, no turn before missed approach point. Obstacle protection reduced in the visual segment. And I think that's what they were talking about before when they said they were talking about the parasailing. I think that's what they were warning about. So the visual segment of the approach is once you get down below the MDA. So it must be, this must be Grace Bay that they're talking about. Anybody who knows the Turks and Caicos, please feel free to tell me yes it is, Captain Obvious. Let's see. You know what? This, not that it's the autopilot's fault, because it's always the guy turning the knobs. That's who should be paying attention. But if you'll see here, I am off course. See that? This is the course I'm supposed to be on. This is the course I'm supposed to be on, and it's off to my right. I was looking over here, and it said roll, which is not what it should say when I am in nav mode. And the entire time I've been flying this flight, it's almost like the autopilot's just been kind of a little bit off, and I don't quite know why. I think earlier I hit the XFR button, transfer button, instead of the speed button, and I think what that does is transfers control of the autopilot to FMS2, which is for the co-pilot, but I didn't enter anything other than one flight plan, so I don't know why it would have followed something else. Little airport down there. But I always say that even flying on an autopilot, it's like using a GPS in a car, right? Like before you ever had one, you always assumed that it was like, oh, you just ask it what to do and it's going to tell you exactly what to do, and you just follow it. And everybody who has a GPS in their car knows that that's a recipe for disaster. I mean, I guess some car GPSs are better than others, but I've had some send me on wild goose chases when I haven't been paying attention. So for whatever reason, it was not following path we were trying to get it to follow. Alright, so let's continue looking at the approach. So we're going to be coming to Benos, which is initial approach fix, inbound 104. So we crossed Benos at 2000 down to 1700. It's 5 miles, you'll only drop 300 feet. Then once we cross Benos, or once we're level at 1700, we reset the altitude pre-select at 200. Uh, 2000. Cross Emuso, 3-degree glide slope down to 278 feet. Okay. Only a half hour out right now, so we're getting close. I'm gonna guess that my ground speed is gonna be 130 on final. So 700 feet per minute descent. Pappy on the left hand side. Alright. Nothing complicated about this. Provided I keep paying attention. Ground speed 485 knots. So it should be a pretty approach. And there should be traffic below us that we're probably not going to see. This is the Exuma chain. Right down here. Right down there somewhere is Exuma International. I think it might be right here. No, it's actually right in line with us, so it should be like right there, I think. Bet you that'd be fun going island hopping down there. Alright, I got 7,415 pounds of fuel on board. Currently burning, what, about 3,700 total an hour. Yeah, look at that, 3,700. Oh no, it's 3,700 each side. Okay. So we can look at First page, fuel management page. Fuel flow 37.35 per hour. Oh, I'm gonna try this this fix again, see if it's gonna. Alright, let's try again. BENOS. No. 254, which is behind us. I think I just found a way to trick it. So I found another waypoint that is pretty close by. Look at that view. Pretty cool, right? So I found another waypoint that's pretty close by called Maxon. Let's see if it'll take that. Maxon. Of course, a 119. It does. Look at that. Alright, so now 29 minus 2,000 is 27 times 4 is 108. 108 nautical miles. Cool. So, more than one way to skin a cat, I guess, right? Okay. Basically what I just did is found another waypoint that is very, very near the waypoint that I wanted to use, which is Benos, or Benos. And I just substituted that. It's close enough. Close enough for government work. And for these purposes, it's no big deal. It's only just, it's a difference of a couple of, maybe a couple of miles. Dead Man's Key coming up here on our left. It's a little bit, kind of wonder how it got that name, right? Be able to see I think the airport is right under those clouds right there. Be able to see it as we go by. Really feels like we're a lot lower than 29,000 feet, doesn't it? That's the airport right there. I don't want to actually stick my head out the cockpit. It's probably a little bit. I think that's the airport right there. You know, another thing that I thought of doing or trying to do in this airplane at one point, is trying to do a flight, trying to do a whole flight hand flying, no autopilot. That'd be kind of fun. I bet you it would be tricky to get it to hold a specific altitude really close. Like, I think you could get between, like, say 28.5 and 29.5, but you don't want to be 500 feet off on your IFR altitude. Maybe I'll just have to try flying one VFR. That'd be funny, flying a flight at like 17,000 feet VFR. So we're coming up over here on Crooked Island. Crooked Island coming up. Probably a better place to be than Dead Man's Key, huh? Alright, it's starting to get close to our top of descent. I don't think this is going to be a whole lot more before we start. Descent here. Alright. I'm dead out. So over here, I guess this is Crooked Island. Another American flight over there somewhere. And up here is like Spring Point, something like that.
Destination ATIS is 132.45.
Alright, destination is 132.45. Let's see. Alright. So I think we're at our top descent. So let's go set our altitude to 2000. Alright, then let's go vertical speed mode down 2,000 feet. And let's pull the power back. Alright. So let's get ourselves settled in here. Let's dial this in a little bit. Let's open up our charts here. Let's check our cruise checklist. We won't be getting too slow here. thinking about here? Let's do the descent checklist. Landing elevation is set. Let's check the fuel. 6,400 pounds. We're currently burning 1,200 total, so we're good. TCAS set. Radar on off. TCAS is set. Radar is off. Radar doesn't work in Microsoft Flight Simulator. CAS checked. Good. Landing data. See, God created checklists for a reason. Alright, performance data. Let's get the fuel level from the aircraft. You see that there. And then let's set the landing data. 132 knots is VREF. So let's go back here. Double check our altimeter setting. Altimeter 1016. Perfect. Alright. Alright. That's 1016. VREF is 132. Let's go back to the checklist. Landing data is set. Approach briefing is complete. That's all I want right there. So look out here on Vatscope. See real quick if there's anybody. Can't imagine there's any air traffic control out here, but who knows? There is not. Okay. Yeah, see, I knew we'd start getting a little faster here now that we get lower. Alright, I'm pretty comfortable with where that is right now. Ascending through 17,000 feet. This will make a radio call 50 miles out. We still got a little ways to go. One rule of instrument flying, even though this is perfectly, there's no, we're not in instrument conditions, but this is still an instrument flight. One rule of instrument flight is never sit around. It's always something you should be doing. So we'll set the speed that we're looking for under 10,000 feet. Right now, all we need is 1,470 feet to reach our target altitude. We're descending at 2,000 feet. But that's fine because we can use vertical speed to pull the power all the way back. We can use vertical speed to control our airspeed. pitch is what controls your airspeed. So, descending through 13,000 feet, I'll bring this down to 1,800 feet a minute. We can bring it down more than that. 1,600 feet a minute. I'm going to keep some power in because otherwise we're just going to get pretty slow here. Alright, I'm going to bring this range in here, making a turn at Soleil in 17 nautical miles. So basically the number we want to keep in our heads is 300. I'm going to call it 300 feet. I like rounding up in my minimum altitudes just because rather be aware of it a little higher than a little lower. Got some traffic down there to the left. Right at about 50 miles from Providenciales. And let's see. Provo traffic, Caribbean 264 is 50 miles to the west inbound RNAV 10 Provo. I just made that up. I think they call it Provo because the chart here says Provo approach. I think that's what they call it. I'm going to sound sophisticated and knowledgeable, or I'm going to sound like an idiot, one of the two. And this is basically going to be a really long straight-in approach. Vinos is 10 nautical miles. But I mean, once we make this turn at Soleil, we're straight in. So we're straight in for what? 40 miles? Okay, under 10,000 feet. Let's put the lights on. Put the passenger light on. The seatbelt sign. So, definitely slow down the vertical speed here. We're going to have to put some power in. Otherwise we'll start getting slow. Alright, let's see here. A bit more power. 1016 on the QNH. That's 1015. Alright. think I'm starting to get to the point where I'm comfortable enough not having to do an early descent. Alright, the next airspeed I'm shooting for is 210, which is our minimum clean airspeed. Alright, so flight attendants advise passenger signs on, thrust reversers armed. And this time I'm actually going to look at switches, see what's going on. CAS is looking good. Alright. Lights are on. Everything looks good. So, come down to Beanos at 2000. Just going to get a little bit more power. Don't want to be getting super slow and just dragging it in here. Get our 1,000 to go notification here pretty soon. 26 miles. Provo traffic, Caribbean 264, 25 miles to the west, inbound, runway 10, Caribbean, Provo. There's probably nobody to talk to. It's kind of in its own orbit out here, isn't it? It's really not near anything else. Alright, it's going to capture the altitude. This is an RNAV approach. We are on White Needles FMS 1. That is what you're looking for. Once we've got out cap, it takes forever, that last like 100 feet of descent right here. Takes forever. Alright. So now we'll bring it down to 1700, which is the next speed that we want, and start slowing down. Just a little bit out on the power. Once we get to 210, alright. First degree of flaps. come in with some power. Alright, we're 5 miles from Bino, so let's come in with our next degree of flaps. Tiny bit more power. Although, really what we're looking for now
Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to land. Please
is
remain
180
seated until we have
knots.
stopped.
So, I'm going to bring the power back again here. So we can start slowing down because we're right there. Provo traffic, Caribbean 264 is on a 15 mile final, runway 10, Provo. So once we get to 180 knots, we'll see some sort of traffic down there. Get some sort of, get to put that in. Definitely going to have to bring in some power here. Next airspeed we're looking for is 160 knots. VREF is 132. Once we cross Binos, we're going to drop vertical speed mode to 1700. Not going to take real long. There's Binos. 1700. Alts cap. Provo traffic, Caribbean 264 is on a 10 mile final, runway 10, Provo. And then we've got about 3 miles now. Come on, capture baby, capture. Okay, now I'm going to put it to 3,000. Alright, now I'm going to go 30 degrees of flaps. I'm going to go up on the power. We're going to go full flaps and gear down. And once we cross, we're going to make a 700 foot per minute descent. Airspeed is good, touch more power. Bring some power back. Now that we're in the descent, get rid of this. Provo traffic, Caribbean 264, 5 mile final, runway 10, Provo. And let's go here. You're a little bit low on the glide slope, which is not what you want. Alright, 1,000 to go. Approach is stabilized. Airspeed's good. Vertical speed's good. We're on glide slope.
1,000.
Provo traffic, Caribbean 264, short final 10 Provo. Alright, autopilot disconnect. Touch more power. A little bit
500.
of power.
$400. 300. 200. 100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
That was not bad. Nose wheel is down. Thrust reverser is armed. And let's get on the nose wheel brakes here. Okay. Put the flaps up.
Please remain seated until the aircraft has come to a complete stop.
Airplane has come to a complete stop for some reason.
Config flaps.
Okay. I want to put my taxi lights on, but I want to leave my landing lights on because I'm still on the runway. I suppose it could have gone in right there. That was all in all one of my better hand-flown approaches. In Flight Simulator, in this airplane. Provo, traffic Caribbean 264 is clear the runway. Provo. Alright, we're going to take position 1 here. Kind of surprised nobody's done a scenery for this this locale. It's a pretty neat place. Alright, so parking brake set. Let's shut down the engines. Oh, I didn't do that. Put up the flaps like they were. Let's turn off the passenger side. Let's look over here at the old aircraft. Put the nose chocks. Connect the ground power car in the air. Open the doors.
Ladies and gentlemen, the door is open. Please
All
make
right,
your way to
so
the...
welcome to Providenciales in the Turks and Caicos. And like I said, there's really not much to see in terms of the airport, but not too bad. Pretty cool flight. Short and to the point. Nice approach. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you next time.